Riding now with Mikasuki Indian Gaming. Brett Bershman, the driver, Troy Hand on the throttles. Fountain Mercury Instigator, Joe Stroh and Peter Meyer with the lead in the Super V class. Head south down Deerfield Beach. Taking a look back, you can see Mikasuki Indian Gaming's Fountain and Lucas Oil Skater doing battle heading into turn 1 here in Deerfield Beach. Behind them, there's Rodriguez Group with Rio Roses just behind. Mikasuki making the great move on the inside of that corner there, moving themselves right up into second place. Brett Bershman and Troy Hannon doing a great job in this 38-foot Fountain, Mercury-powered, Bravo-driven boat. Mikasuki Indian Gaming at Chrome Avenue and 41. Big resort area for all your gambling and resort needs in the Miami area. Mikasuki Indian Gaming. Brett Bershman and Troy Hannon aboard. Always a front runner here in SPI in the Super V class. There you can see how their onboard camera just behind the Instigator there. Instigator out front, Mikasuki in second, Lucas Oil currently running in third place. There you can see some of the spectator fleet here in Deerfield. A pretty good spectator fleet down the 3-mile straightaways here on the ocean side. There you can see Miss Longlight going by in the Superboat Unlimited class. They actually started in the second start, motoring right along there. Looking now at the 38-foot skater, Lucas Oil. Chine walking a little bit there. Rick Dermel and Nigel Hook in Lucas Oil. Coming into the corner here at the north end of the course. Instigator into the turn first. On the outside is Miss Longlight. Right behind them is Mikasuki Indian Gaming and Lucas Oil. See Brett Bershman at the wheel, carving through the corner, trying to catch up to Instigator there. You see Miss Longlight with David Kellen and John Coster pulling away in the Superboat Unlimited category. Troy Hannon on throttles here is the owner-operator Supreme Marine in Fort Lauderdale, who rigs and maintains Mikasuki Indian Gaming, both of their boats, as well as the hull. With 525 Mercury power with the Bravo drive. Matt Castle is the crew chief for Rodriguez Group. Number 96, one of the many Super Vs doing battle for the national championship here in the 2005 SBI APBA UIM series. They've got a great battle going along with Rio Roses, Instigator, and Mikasuki, all trying to get the coveted #1 title for their boat next season. Rodriguez Group currently running in 5th place in the Super V class here in Deerfield behind Instigator, Mikasuki Indian Gaming, Rio Roses, and Lucas Oil, but looking to move up in place right now. Rodriguez Group fountain, 38-foot fountain with mercury power. Going around the corner at the south end of the course here in Deerfield Beach. And resort based out of Miami, Florida. A great place to go and spend your money. Battling up front now, side by side. The two leaders, identical Super Vs built by the Fountain Factory. Team Instigator and Fountain Mercury Rio Roses. Fountain Mercury Rio Roses taking a shower right now, heading into the corner. Instigator gaining a lot of ground on that corner, doing a great job right there. But Fountain Mercury Rio Rose is going to come back with a vengeance now, heading up the beach. Going south now. Instigator with Joe Scrow and Peter Meyer aboard, and Rio Roses with David Knight and Mike Seabold aboard. You can see Team Instigator going by the Super V Light number 11 Levy craft. Running very smoothly at this point, heading south on the course here at the Deerfield Beach National Championships. Trying to hold off the charging number 15 Fountain Mercury Rio Roses, David Knight and Mike Seabold aboard, trying to catch up and pass with his points battle in the Super V class, trying to win the national championships here at the final race of the national season. Wow, what a turn. Great turn there by Fountain Mercury Rio Roses. Carried a lot of speed in there and made up a ton of ground on Instigator Rio Fountain Mercury there. Two identical boats, but Rio Roses came very hot in that corner and was able to pull it off. Great job driving there at the wheel for Mike Seabold and David Knight on the throttle, trying to catch up with Joe Scrow and Peter Meyer here in the Instigator. Very close racing, side by side, two identical fountains. This race going on for overlap side by side like this. You can see Rio Roses pull up alongside and then just check out right here. Very impressive show of horsepower there and boat setup. Amazing that Fountain Mercury Railroads was able to pull up to an identical boat and leave them just like that. see Instigator just falling back now after the Fountain Mercury Rio Rose's boat just pulls right past them, heading into the north end of the course. Both these boats. Be some exciting racing in this bumpy water. JEM seems to have the early advantage here, taking off in the bumpier water over Paradise. Paradise number 77 is a beautiful 2004 MTI 42-footer. Sponsors for Paradise include Marine Technology, Supercat Rigging, Lavoisier Marine, Shipyard Marine, Sterling Performance, and Perthel Brothers, Inc. The boat's equipped with twin 1,500 horsepower Sterling inboards. The owner, driver, and throttleman is Rick Perthel, who throttles with the foot throttle. The navigator is Steve Wolf from Germantown, Wisconsin. This boat always looks immaculate, beautiful Geographics paint job. The custom rigging by Supercat Rigging is second to none. Beautiful work, featured in all kinds of magazines, TV articles, TV shows, newspaper articles. Rick Perthel always does a great job of attracting all his fans to the pit area, always looking to show off his beautiful piece of machinery here. Artwork in motion. Paradise is a beautiful 42-foot MTI. See him making the turn off the north end of the course here in St. Pete, heading out into the Gulf. Definitely bumpy waters. Big airtime here off St. Pete Beach. The 2005 Jeep Chrysler Offshore Super. Moving up to the front of the pack in the PX class, this is Interome JEM Listerine Pocket Pack. Number 6, former Supercat entry, owned and throttled by Jay Muller from Upper Saddle River, New Jersey, and driven by Daniel Funch, also from New Jersey. Daniel Funch is the owner of Interome Fragrance Company. This is a 40-foot motion cat rigged by Grant's Custom Rigging in Fort Lauderdale, powered by twin Mercury Supercat engines with Mercury number 6 drives. The drives are maintained by Offshore Outdrives, also in Fort Lauderdale. But AMT cat. And you can see doubling up, catching big air here off St. Pete Beach. S18 Bermuda Barracuda. Chris Marshall, the owner and driver, is from Bermuda. Dennis Berry, the throttleman who rigs, maintains, and builds the engines for Barracuda, is from Illinois. This boat has a long history. It's the original 30-foot AMT built by Doug Wright. It's raced as Blondie, Miccosukee Indian Gaming, ATC Transmission Center, and several other names, but has always been a front runner and run very well. Guys just moved to the front of the pack after Lone Shark apparently missed the turn there off St. Pete. Bermuda Barracuda definitely turned it up a notch now. You can see running very well, moving out in this bumpy water off St. Pete. Dennis Berry, Chris Marshall, no stranger running at the front of the pack. Two very experienced guys, raced all over the place and won many championships together. Word has it they have a new 32-foot Doug Wright on order to compete in the popular Offshore Super Series Cat Outboard class next season, which promises to be one of the biggest classes in Offshore Super Series in 2006. Running very strong at the front of the pack, S18 Bermuda Barracuda. Chris Marshall and Dennis Berry doing a great job. Grant Bruggeman. Dan Prokosky, the owner and driver, the owner of leaksandheat.com, servicing all your plumbing needs in the New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware area. As I said, Naughty Goose Saloon's Mojo S1 was the 2005 national champion here at Offshore Super Series, looking to add a world championship to their resume in their first season of racing together. Graphics on Mojo are done by Kinetic Animation out of Bradenton, Florida. Crew Chief Troy Tremellin always does a great job of keeping the boat in top shape, as well as the gear cases maintained by Offshore Outdrive of Fort Lauderdale. Power heads on this boat are maintained by Diamond Marine, also of Fort Lauderdale, long known as one of the best engine builders for outboards out there. They were the 2004 and 2005 OSS national champions. There you can see these guys have no fear in the big water. That's why they're called the Crazy Cubans. Holding the throttles down in this rough water off St. Pete Beach, but at the front of the pack currently in the Super V Light class. You can hear Larry Fontecha not missing a beat on the throttle, doing a great job, and Willie Roth keeping it running in a straight line. Throttle Up Propeller is the sponsor aboard Wildcard for this race. Does many propellers for lots of the different teams that run here in the Offshore Super Series as well as the other series of racing. They sell new propellers as well as dial in your own propellers, lab finishing, all sorts of services. Throttle Up Propellers in St. Petersburg does a great job at whatever they do. World champion this year. Wild Ride driver is Ben Hedrick. Throttle man is Larry Kostelak. Another boat that was rigged by Grant's Custom Rigging, this year powered by a Mercury 525 inboard with an IMCO drive. There you can see Wild Ride getting ready to go by Throttle Up Wildcard here. Number 5 Wild Ride, always a front runner. As I said, took the championship last year in Key West at the World Championship. Trying to move up now to catch up to Screaming Eagle to do it again here in St. Pete. Cowling is covering the snout, so they may be okay here with the Bermuda Barracuda. Run at the front of the pack on these very rough conditions is the 2005 Jeep Chrysler Offshore Super Series World Championship. Bermuda Barracuda, 30-foot AMT cat out front. You can see all 5 of the Super Cats there. That's Popeye, WHM, Team CRC, Reliable Carriers, and Nichols Offshore. We've got the green flag. We're going racing here. First round for the Super Cat category off St. Pete for the 2005 Offshore Super Series Chrysler Jeep World Championship. As you can see, boats wasting no time getting up to full throttle. WHM, Team CRC taking a little bit early lead. Popeye all the way on the inside. Team CRC, your national champion, pretty much been unstoppable all season long, running very strong right at the start of the race, with WHM giving chase heading towards turn 1. You can see WHM getting a little bit of shower in the first turn. On the outside, it's Nichols Offshore with Reliable Carriers back just a little bit. Currently CRC, WHM, Popeye, Nichols, and Reliable. Dominic Descansi doing a great job driving the Popeye, keeping it in a straight line. Nichols and Reliable all side by side here early on in the race, with CRC jumping out to an early advantage with WHM in tow. Heading into turn one, lots of action here. Tight quarters racing here. Popeye just making it around the buoy there. Popeye, Reliable, Nichols trying to chase down WHM and Team CRC. You can hear Jim Dyke doing a great job on the throttle. Some years of experience of Team Popeye.